Welcome to Datatastic, I'm Paul, and today we are going to have a look at the most important numerical functions in R. So let's jump right in. First, let's look at the absolute value. So for example, we can use the abs function. Now we can enter any number, can be a variable or just a normal number. For example, the absolute value of 5 is of course 5, but the absolute value of -5 is of course also 5. But you can also enter a mathematical expression. So for example, 3 minus 10 is -7, and of course the absolute value is therefore 7. Next we have the square root. So for example, we can say the square root of 9 is of course 3, or we can even say square root of 2, giving us a real number. Next we have the ceiling function. Ceiling basically means that we round up to the next whole integer value. So for example, 5.9 turns into 6, but 5.1 also turns into 6, so we always round up. We can also use pi, for example, giving us a value of 4, or even a much larger decimal number. The floor function is the exact opposite, so this time we go down to the next smaller whole integer number. So for example, 5.9 turns into 5. Or pi turns into 3. But you can also use the round function. The round function allows you to enter a number and then the number of digits. So for example, we could say round pi to the first 2 digits. And now we have 3.14. We could also say, for example, round the square root of 2 and again 2 digits, and it's 1.41. Next we have the factorial function. So for example, the factorial of 5 is 120, and factorial basically means we multiply all natural numbers down to 1. We multiply them all up, so the factorial of 5 is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Or the factorial of 10. Or the factorial of 1 plus 2. So yeah, nothing too complicated. Next, let's look at the binomial coefficient. We basically use the choose function. So we can define a n value. For example, n equals 10 and k equals 6. And this gives us 210. Next we have the exponential function. We of course can plug this function into other functions. So for example, you could say round e to 3 digits, giving us 2.718. But of course we can use more complicated expressions, or let's say e to the power of pi. Next we have the logarithm, so we can for example say log of 1000, giving us 6.9, because the normal base is of course e, but we can also say log of 1000 and then base equals 10, for example, giving us a value of 3. And lastly we have sine and cosine, so we can for example say sine of p or of 1, or the cosine of, yeah, let's also use 1, and pi. So yeah, there you go. It's actually very easy to use numerical functions in R. And yeah, I hope this video was helpful. If it was, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel if you are interested in more R and RStudio tutorials. And see you in the next video. Bye.